Hello and welcome back to Second Take Movies, the podcast where we give movies a second look, a second chance, a second take, if you will. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson, and joining me is my co-host, Jake Twido.
Oh, yeah.
We're back.
Yep. Got a good joke for the new year. Is that
Okay.
the right tie-in joke to the movie? Joke, comment?
What?
Yeah, we started this year off great, man. I'm not making any more sense than last year. Rad.
After our break from... We finished Harry Potter last year.
Which perfect time for the video game coming out, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't really realize that sucker was dropping. So,
Like February.
yeah, I'm pumped.
Well, for PC and newer consoles.
I'm gonna rob. Wow, I'm not even drinking, and I can't talk. That's the worst thing. Maybe I should just do that so I can talk. Do it better. It's gonna ride a hippogriff everywhere. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I saw the gameplay preview for it. You can fly one of those, and you can get on a broom. There's no Quidditch, they said. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
that was...
if there's Quidditch, boycott.
Boy, I will ignore it. We are starting a look at what we'll call Zach Snyder's second chances. So, like, his movies that he got a second chance to do, basically. And we're starting with Watchmen, the director's cut.
Yep. You could also say we really hate free time.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna watch the longest movies humanly possible. After this, we're gonna do
All
Dances
of the
with Wolves and the Titanic.
all of these are like 3 hours plus, and we're next week is Batman vs Superman, and then we're doing the Zack Snyder's Justice League after that, and that's a whole 4 hour thing. That might be 2 episodes. I don't know yet.
I was gonna say that probably should be a dobe.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this up front, because I know where I stand on this.
Okay.
I think these Snyder cuts, anything else, they're the dumbest things in the world. I think the story's better in them, though.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and tell you right now.
Yeah.
I think, like, way better a movie. I'm fearful that this is the world we're going to have now. I guess we've always had director's cuts on some stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to deal with, like, a movie comes out, then all of a sudden there's another version of it. Like, forget this, man.
Yeah.
No.
Just let
Do it
Zack
once.
Snyder put what he wants to in it. He's got a fan base now that'll come out and see it, whatever he does. So
Got a lot of people that love blue wieners. Put more of those in.
yeah. That's a lot of
I'm going to go ahead and give you.
blue
I'll give you the
penis in
review of
this
this movie. This movie blew my mind. I didn't know anything about Watchmen comic, nothing.
Oh, wow.
I worked at GameStop and went and saw it after working one night with the guys that worked there,
Mhm.
and they all read the comics. They knew about it, so they were like, "Oh, dude, man, yeah, you got blew my mind." But the greatest single-hand review. There's a guy named Marcus. No, it wasn't that guy. It doesn't matter who it was. But I was like, dude, what'd you think of the movie? And he goes, well, there was more dicks than boobs, and boobs coming too. It's like, that was your takeaway? And he
Wow.
goes, yeah. I read the comic. I knew it was happening. I just didn't want to see that many wieners. It's like, okay. Great, cool. So there's your positive review. More boobs than more wieners than boobs.
My first encounter with Watchmen was I took a English class in college that was like a comic book class, and we studied.
cool.
Yeah.
This had to be a big deal then.
Yeah,
That's
this was like part of the reading material. That's like one of the few classes I read for in college.
This was I went back. That's what didn't mean anything to me until after seeing the movie and then getting it and going back into it. But like, comic was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it was really comics aren't for kids necessarily.
It was the first big one that was like that.
And I can't remember what award it won. It won a huge literary
It won
award.
a lot.
It's not a Mark Twain, but it's something big.
The TV show, which is a sequel to the comic book, is really good too.
Not the movie.
Not the movie. It's a sequel to
That's
the
important.
comic book. Yeah.
Didn't realize that or pick up on it until watching this movie this time, and I'm like, oh, it's a sequel to the comic. That's okay.
which that show is much better than this movie. But anyway, the story for this movie in 1985, where former superheroes exists, the murder of a colleague sends active vigilante Rorschach into his own sprawling investigation, uncovering something that could completely change the course of history as we know it. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, and also forget Rorschach is the main character.
Pretty much, yeah. He narrates the whole
He's
thing.
the narrator,
Yeah.
technically. So,
Our positive review from Kyle Smith at the New York Post. Director Zach Snyder, cerebral, scintillating, I'm going to call it that, scintillating follow-up to 300 seems to even a weary filmgoer's eye a fresh and magnificent in sound and vision as 2001 must have seemed in 1968. Yet, in its eagerness to argue with itself, it resembles A Clockwork Orange.
I get that. You ever seen the meme or you ever heard the song "A Man's Not Hot"?
Yeah.
He did an interview with a girl. I mean, it's a comedian, that guy is. He did an interview with the girl, and he's like, your skin, it's scintillating. And so when you said that just now, all I could see was that guy's face in my head.
Scintillating.
So I wasn't laughing at you. I was just laughing at the, like, yeah, man, that almost is a real word.
Yeah.
He almost had a real word, but negative review, someone's going to say, this is really violent. It's bad. It's dark. There's no story.
Not really. Anthony Lane from The New Yorker with our negative review says, the problem is that Snyder, following Moore, is so insanely aroused by the look of vengeance and by the stylized application of physical power that the film ends up twice as fantastic as the forces it wishes to lampoon.
Yeah, I don't mind Zack Snyder. I like his stuff, but he is a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I think he's a good director, but
yeah, you got to know. I mean, you're gonna go. I mean, it's just like watching M. Night Shyamalan. You know exactly what you're gonna watch.
His visual style is very apparent, and he's likes to do slow motion. Recently, it's like having everything out of focus, and then the subject comes into the foreground that's in focus.
I did love the shots, the framing, the effects, everything. I forget how much I loved this movie. I mean, it was right after 300, so it wasn't overdone yet.
I think 300 got him this job.
Definitely. Yeah. All the way.
Mm-hmm.
This sucker starts, though. Yeah, this starts with the death, the murder.
Mm-hmm.
Of also, I think this was my introduction to golly, my brain really is farting. I'm really firing terrible in 2023. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah. This was the first thing I saw him in. Yeah,
I like how he got the job was when he like did the audition for Zack Snyder. He was kind of rude. It was abrasive. He wasn't trying to like play into a role to get it, but that's why he got it. Zack Snyder was like, oh, he's kind of a jerk. He fits.
Yeah, comedian's a jerk.
Yeah. So you immediately hop into this guy's place. I think you kind of can tell that this isn't our world.
Mm-hmm.
It's our world with an asterisk. There's some like pictures or something. Or they're talking about the Cold War getting bad, but there's a 5-term president, Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Which the funniest thing in the world. But yeah, that whole scene, man, I love it. Him seeing the feet from underneath the door. I don't know. I just, again, like, this is a movie where when I rewatch it, I go back to exactly how I felt the first time.
Yeah.
Not having any idea what I was in for. And it was like, whoa, this thing is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
This is the first 10 minutes. This is going to get wild.
And you can do spoilers for later on, but the killer ends up being Ozymandias, Adrian Veidt. And that's his silhouette. I mean, the dude steps in.
Trying to hide it.
Yeah, it's like at least hire like a stunt guy to do that scene, and then.
Oh, that dude! The best thing is that, and then again, spoiler: Rorschach is a homeless man.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even try and hide that he's in every scene.
Right.
He's just there.
He's there.
The guy's just hanging out. Which is great. I mean, perfect. The when you know the twist, rewatching it, it's like, oh, I suck.
Yeah.
I think I should have known. Not
Yeah.
just I'm stupid, but
the comedian and Ozymandias, or our murderer, get into a fight, and this has to be. I probably need to talk through this. He picks him up and throws him out the window.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give you my problem with this entire thing.
Yeah.
I never figured out. Are they super powered? Because they do some crazy things of physical. If he's that smart, maybe he can figure out the proper leverage angle to pick him up.
Maybe.
And do all that stuff.
But no, they're like the thing that Alan Moore did this on purpose was they're all just like vigilantes in suits.
A lot of them are ex-cops originally.
Yeah. And
Minutemen were, at least.
There's only one super-powered being, and that's Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. So that's my only problem with figuring that out in the movie of y'all have some like really, really strong punches and stuff. And there's not like, I don't know, it doesn't distract.
No,
but
I mean, it kind of fits this. I would say this is like a hyper reality where people punch really hard.
Yeah. Throws him out plate glass window, which they even make a comment later of like
you gotta have like,
you could go 60 miles an hour over the car and hit this and it wouldn't make a dent.
Yeah. Like, okay. So is Ozymandias have like strength or whatever? But anyway, after that scene, Rorschach finds
credit montage, baby. You got to hit that first.
Oh yeah.
This movie. I was like, this movie's long. I'm going to skip this. And then the music started. This whole movie has awesome music. Like fitting for everything. But it was kind of rad watching that whole build-up of like, here's the Minutemen, here's them going.
Oh, yeah, it shows you the alternate history of the world from like the 40s to now.
Same thing with first time I saw this, when you're like, oh, this is cool. This is all the stuff they did. And then all of a sudden they start dying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is going to be really crazy.
Did you watch the entire Watchmen series, correct?
Yeah.
So for me, knowing the Hooded Justice backstory from that they created, and watching that stuff, like you watch interactions with Hooded Justice and Captain Metropolis or whatever, I think was his name. It's like, I mean, these aren't connected, but ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So that rad credit montage. God, man, I'm telling you, I'm losing it. The only thing you get out of that really of note, though, is there's a anti-vigilante act passed. There's no more hooded people. And then back to Rorschach. That, a comedian died tonight.
A comedian died in New York.
What was this? 2009? When was Batman?
October 14th, 15th? Who knows? October 14th, 1985.
Okay.
A comedian
Batman
died
Begins
in New
had
York.
been out.
Yeah. This was a year after Iron Man.
That's wild to think about.
I was in college. I remember when this came out.
Oh, that's so weird.
I was so excited.
I was thinking about like glowy Marvel. Here's this, which is kind of funny looking at it now.
Here's a very early thing of a takedown of superheroes.
Yeah, way ahead of its time. I wonder what this movie would be like if they did it today. But for the movie that we watch now, you immediately pick up on. It's awesome. Like Rorschach's got a daggum grappling gun. This is old school, man. I like this. This is fun. He goes, investigates, finds out, it's the comedian that died, which you don't really know the comedian. But I guess you figure out he's kind of unhinged there.
Yeah, Rorschach figures out that the guy is the comedian by searching his apartment.
Which I guess this is also the fake world where a little teeny eye mask can hide your identity.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm rolling with it. It's cool.
I can't see your cheekbones. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. He gets paranoid about thinking someone's out to kill the Watchmen. So he's going to go warn everybody. And then he goes to probably one of my favorite especially watching this movie, then going back and reading it. I don't know. Favorite characters, heroes ever? Just Night Owl. I like Night Owl.
Yeah.
And done.
I like his
And that's
suit in this better than in the comic.
Oh yeah, way better. Also, the first time that I ever saw Patrick Wilson act.
He's really good.
Yeah, I wish he'd do more stuff because he's fantastic, especially in this movie.
Like
I
for
mean, he nails it.
Aquaman, he was perfect for what they needed him to do.
I forgot he was in Aquaman.
Yeah,
Man.
he plays Orm in Aquaman.
Yeah, but this was the role for him though.
Yeah,
Like money spot, and Night Owl is just a nerd.
yeah,
He's hanging a good nerd.
yeah. He's just
hanging out with the old Night Owl, getting beers. Which, yeah, we're watching the director's cut, so I think it's important to call out where things are different.
yeah,
There's a lot more about the Night Owl wolves, Night Owl 1 and 2,
yeah.
and it's good, but it sucks. That's the worst part. Is that later, but it's great because I don't know. Snyder does a really good job of doing like back. What am I trying to say? Views backwards of like
Flashbacks.
here's a character. Thank you. Sees their face.
Yeah,
I have an ad going right here that I'm looking at. Like, what is that? I have ADD, I guess. Does flashbacks really good, but he also does the like. Rorschach is going to introduce you into Night Owl. Night Owl is going to introduce you into this.
mm-hmm.
So it's this awesome like chain where you don't even realize that's what's happening until you really sit back and you're like, oh, they're making logical reasons to introduce these people instead of just
And
surprise.
most of the second act of this movie is flashbacks.
Didn't realize how many until watching this
Yeah,
time.
I
It
mean,
is all.
they were all that
flashbacks.
good. I mean, it's like it just makes sense in the context of the story. Like especially at that funeral scene where we
Ooh,
focus
that one.
on each one of the characters and an interaction they had with Blake, I think was his name.
That was the best.
The
Like
comedian.
that's. I mean, like he's not in the movie. The comedian.
Right. Just in
He only
flashbacks.
exists in the past, and it's like, man, you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So they also set up, which I wish they'd do a series of Rorschach and Night Owl as a duo
Yes.
fighting crime.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. Like, just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's before Rorschach went crazy,
Well,
so it'd be scaled back.
I think
he was crazy the whole
Rorschach has always been crazy. It's just that at this point he's like got no problem with murder.
Oh yeah, no, he just does it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love. So they go to Adrian Veidt's place. He's the smartest man alive. What has he done? He's a businessman. He sells action figures of the Watchmen.
Of the Watchmen, yeah.
And other things too. But it's just like,
Brilliant.
what? But there's a guy interviewing him when they get there,
Yeah.
and he's speaking on behalf of all the Watchmen. I don't think they'd mind if I say this, and then kind of winks at Dan, who is the Night Owl, who no one knows who he is.
Yeah.
Um,
Adrian Veidt's the only one that has revealed his identity.
and Night Owl won because he wrote a book
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Under the Hood, something like that. Into the Hood.
Under the hood.
But my favorite one is, so they leave there. Rorschach decides he needs to tell Dr. Manhattan, John Osterman,
mm-hmm.
who knows everything, can do anything. Like, Rorschach, why do you have to go tell him this? He already knows it.
Well, I think his thing was he wanted him to look in the future and see if the killer was ever identified. Because that's something he can do.
That's right.
That's what they even say
Yeah.
that. He's like, you want me to look into the future, but something's blocking my vision of the future right now.
Yeah, and the also the start, sorry, from the credits, the pushing factor in the whole movie is Russia's contemplating nuclear war.
Yeah.
So you're getting closer and closer to the minutes at midnight,
Mm-hmm.
and DEFCONs are dropping. So that's the other side story that becomes a part. But you also meet. Do you meet Silver Spectre there?
Silk Spectre, yes, she's in the thing with him.
Yeah. So you've got everybody then.
Yeah.
That's the whole kit and caboodle.
But going back to Adrian Veidt, he is so obviously the villain of this movie.
I didn't pick it up the first time. And I hate myself. I'm like, how did I know he was...
Like,
I just thought he was a weirdo.
even if I feel like even a person that hasn't read the comic that watched this movie for the first time, they'd be like, oh, well,
Obviously, it's him.
yeah, because he just does everything so sinister. Like he can't. I mean, because in the book he's like this calm, normal guy. Well, not normal. He's just really smart, but he's like really nice and does all this stuff. And this is like the way he just does things is like,
Yeah, it's almost the way he even talks.
Yeah.
I don't know who that actor's perfect for this too.
well,
Like, say what you will about this movie, it's cast
perfect.
pretty dang perfect. But I know Tom Cruise was in the goings for that, and I would have rolled with that so hard.
What I do like about the character is the actor. If you notice, there's like a difference when he's in a business meeting and at the end when they're in Antarctica and like they're just like old friends around. He uses an American accent when he's business guy, but at the end he has a slight German accent.
Yep, and I absolutely love that dude's fashion sense. It's rad.
Oh yeah, purple jacket and everything.
It's so funny.
Is that when someone takes a shot at him? Or no?
No, it's later.
Okay.
They come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come back for that. Because then that's where you find out that Dr. Manhattan's is the nuclear deterrent, pretty much. But he's doing energy research and is just ignoring everything. So that's like strike one of,
because
this guy's not here.
Like completely almost checked out on humanity.
Yeah. And I'll wait until later. Dr. Manhattan that's the most interesting character. Just
Yeah.
the movie does a good job of him.
Like his monologue that tells his entire story when he goes to Mars is like awesome.
That entire I watched it a couple times because one, I love the soundtrack. I talked about the music's good, but the score in this, it's a Trent and Atticus Ross thing. They do everything. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Mm-hmm.
They did that the Facebook one. They do a ton now, but it's just a beautiful score. But that whole speech where it's the monologue's the right word of him being like, "This is gonna happen in 10 minutes from now, but for now, this is here. I haven't experienced it yet."
Because he sees time all at once.
Such a weird, and you get it later, but.
Because I think anybody that would have powers like that, like in our world, in real life, if anyone ever got powers like that, they would check out. Like,
oh yeah, why would you care? I mean,
why do I care about y'all? Why would I bother saving you? Why? What's the point?
Yeah, there's no point.
Yeah,
it's all a joke.
Yeah.
They go to the funeral from there though, I think, and I love no one shows up to the funeral but them.
Like it is like 3 people.
Yeah, I mean they're the only people that know who he actually is too. Yeah. But yeah, like you said earlier, they all get their flashbacks. Probably the best one is Dr. Manhattan of him in Vietnam. Then you understand, oh, that's the comedian. Yeah,
like the comedian, the comedian shoots a pregnant woman, and then immediately blames Dr. Manhattan.
But that whole thing, that is the most sound like comedian's insane, but sometimes
he's like, yeah, I killed her, but you
could have stopped it.
You don't care. You've obviously checked out, dude. Like
he was. I mean that whole line of you could have turned the gun and the bullets into dust in a matter of a millisecond, but you didn't do it. You just watched.
Yeah.
You just wanted to see what happened.
Yeah.
And you knew it happened, and it's like, oh, that's why he's gonna die. I'm trying to think of any of those other flashbacks or. I mean, they're all good.
There's the
you don't get a flashback for Dan. Dan never has a real flashback.
Yeah, he does. He does. It's him and the comedian doing riot control.
But how he became Night Owl.
Oh no, you don't. I mean, nobody ever really gets an origin for themselves,
you're right.
Except for Rorschach.
Thinking of Rorschach,
and that's because he's in therapy.
Jeez Louise, yeah, that scene too.
But yeah, there's the
rape scene.
The rape scene.
That's there too, right? Where because she goes
to see her mom.
She goes to her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, dude tried to rape you. Why are you sad that he's dead? And through the course of the movie, it's revealed that after that incident, they hooked up consensually at one point and had Lori.
Which again, this movie tells you everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't hide anything.
It show. I mean,
That, and her flashback flat out says it. Her dad or the guy with her says it. It doesn't click at first, I guess. Because even watching this, I mean, I knew it. But he said it, and I went, "Oh."
She asked John a couple of times to like show me how you see time or whatever, and every time he does that, that scene between her stepdad, I guess, and her mom keeps her, because that's obviously something she's repressed. And then
that's one of my favorite Dr. Manhattan quotes when they're arguing before that, and he's like, "You just don't see time like I do. I wish you could." Oh, here. There's no hesitation. It's just oh here, boom.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess the only other thing to note, the supervillain Moloch shows up to the funeral.
Yeah.
I don't understand what a supervillain is in this world. Then
I don't either. What was his ability? Like, did the supervillains have abilities and the heroes didn't, or what?
He was spooky.
He was spooky. He's a little magician.
Ooh, he looked like a magician.
Yeah.
There is a magician scene later, but
yeah.
Yeah. Rorschach, again, the homeless Rorschach, when he's wearing his mask, his air quote mask, when he's just not doing it, spots Moloch there, so he goes and hunts him down. I just think about bones getting broken through this movie.
I can't do bones.
Yeah, well, how'd you feel about? Well, we'll get there in a minute. But you figure out Rorschach goes through his mail, which is so funny because it's like first time you watch it, maybe you don't pick up on it. The next time you're like, oh, this is so obvious. Of here's the pyramid. Oh, it all lines up.
Adrian Veidt is obsessed with Egypt and Ramses II, who was known as Ozymandias in the Greek. And
yeah, Moloch tells him too that the comedian. I didn't know who he was. He came here a couple nights ago crying.
Yeah, and he was
unmasked.
Was
drunk
in my bedroom with his mask off because he didn't have anybody else to tell.
But that's what Rorschach's like. There's no way. There's no way. And I know there's some in between right there. I know there's some fodder. No, right there is. Yeah, that's where Lori and him have the argument. After that, where she's having the blue man 7-way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's mad because
and he's in there working.
That's the funniest thing. Like, dude's multitasking really hardcore.
Which is like what a guy would do. He's like, I can split my body like 17 different ways. Why don't I just go work on this and do that? Like, bang.
So she storms out on him, and that's when he gives the like, "You're my last connection to humanity."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, this isn't gonna be good.
Yeah, and he he knows all this is gonna happen. Like he sees everything that happens to him up until the big explosion at the end, which is what Adrian Veidt is like blocking his sight or whatever.
She goes and goes on a date with Dan. I don't know. There's something about that moment where I think they met up earlier.
Yeah, they got dinner together earlier.
They got dinner, and then because
Dr. Manhattan tells her, "Yeah, go see Dan. You know, he's an old friend. You know."
Yeah, that scene where she comes in. I don't know how to say this, but it's like the strapless dress where everything's pushed up. His nerdy face and expression is the funniest thing to me. And it's like, this is the guy. This is the guy.
He's he's cleaning off his glasses and he puts them on. He's like, ugh.
Yeah, so she shows up out of the blue and he's like,
no pun intended.
I was going to go get beers with Hollis, just to catch up. Why don't you come with us? So they go down a dark alley.
Yeah.
And, a lot more important for the director's cut, the knot tops.
Yeah.
I know that's probably not nice to say.
That's what they
the
are.
Name of the gang. Yeah. someone left the movie when I saw this the first time because there's one mention of it in the normal thing. Someone left. Yeah, whatever. That was a while back too.
Yeah.
They get in that fight. That fight is crazy. And that when they break that dude's bone out of his arm, that makes me hurt every time.
Well, it's so violent that it's fake, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. Like, you can tell that was like a rubber arm or something.
I don't like horror movies like slasher gore and stuff.
I don't.
But stuff like this, it's such hyper violence that it's like, yeah, this isn't real.
Yeah.
This is whatever. I mean, but so while that's going on, the government's mad because she left, and they think that put John in a mood. And then he's going to go do a TV show for some reason. He's going to go.
I think he just got scheduled to do an interview, I guess.
Face to face with Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then so they're asking questions to him. Those questions he gets lobbed at the beginning, his responses are the most beautiful. Like, I don't give a flying crap about anything.
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it is like, what's the difference between a dead human, and a live human? They're the same number of carbon.
Same number of particles in either one. Damn.
This is great. But then,
even in a world without nuclear weapons, the world would be a dangerous place.
Yeah. Honest comment, too. Then the reporter earlier, that's the first time I watched it started connecting dots. Like, oh, we've seen this guy before. This is interesting. But they drag out
a big gotcha.
He's given everybody cancer.
Yeah,
including his previous wife.
He got
girlfriend.
His ex-girl, his dude he went to college with, that introduced him to the ex-girl. The handler that dealt with him at the government, the first one.
His buddy's name is Wally. That guy looks like a Wally.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
What I don't understand about that is, I mean, I understand that Adrian gave them all cancer. But did these people all work at the same place for him to give them cancer?
Yeah, they all worked and went in the research lab.
Okay, so
there's a scene in the director's cut. I think it's just the director's cut where it's in both. He throws a canister of
I see him put the canister in the thing, but it's like,
yeah.
How long did he do that?
Well, knowing him probably once, but like Malik, he did something in his house.
Right.
I think they explain it in the books more of
that was my one hang up with this whole thing was like, how? Okay, yeah, I get he gave him cancer, but like, how long did it take him to give them cancer?
He just gave him a pack of cigarettes and said, "Go to town."
But anyway, you just move on. It's like, oh, he gave him cancer. Who cares?
What the part that I get confused at too here? So he gets really mad. They all swarm him, and he's just like, "Go away, go away!"
Like, stop.
Do they disappear, or does he disappear?
That
studio room gets blanked.
That is explained better in the book. I mean, it's shot for shot right out of the comic book. But what he does is he teleports everybody out of the room and the cameras. So in the comic book, you get a panel of they're all like he teleports them, and then the next like frame is them all outside somewhere, and the camera is shooting something that's not the studio. Cuts back to him in this empty studio, and then he teleports to Mars.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember it, and I was like, did he just kill all these people? Daggum. No. But I figured it had to be that. But yeah, he goes to Mars, and later, it's just going to be on Mars for a little while.
Yep.
So they go back, because the Warsaw Pact doesn't exist in this world. So
I think
Nixon
it does.
starts...
Because he even say, like, the other Warsaw Pact countries.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's mentioned.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
Probably because they said it in the movie.
Yeah, it's in my head. And it's 2023, and apparently my words and my brain don't work. No fireball in the body is bad, Preston.
Yeah, apparently. You having withdrawals over there? What's going on?
No, I'm petting a dog, so that's distracting.
Oh, okay.
So Nixon's prepping for war.
Yeah.
I think they don't go to DEFCON 1 yet. They're going to 2.
They go to 2
And they start
minutes
loading
to
up the
midnight.
bombers.
The watchdog group of nuclear scientists. Who are these people? I'm with Nixon on that. Who are these people?
Yeah, who are these people? Yeah, even today, like I think we've seen it go to midnight in our time, man. Shouldn't we be dead?
Yeah, I thought.
In my eyes, it's 1:30. Who cares?
I thought midnight meant death, but anyway.
Yeah. That's where I don't remember how they get there, but that's where the Veidt assassination attempt happens, though.
Yes. He's having a
No,
meeting
yeah,
with
because-
all these oil guys.
Yeah, because knowing that war's coming, Dr. Manhattan's gone. He can't give free energy to end the war. What are they going to do? And that's when you get the terrible delivery driver who drops the box and then shoots. Why isn't there a shotgun in the box, man? Just rip off Terminator.
Right. I mean, you know, he's just a guy that they hired to do that.
Man, that's when you actually see Veidt do stuff, though.
But he lets a bunch
dodging
of
the
people get
bullets.
shot.
Yeah, and he did it on purpose.
His
but I'm
secretary takes one to the leg and the hand. Like 2 guys get shot right in the head, and then he finally hits him with one of those poles. What do you call those things that hold the the VIP ropes or whatever? Trebuchet? No, that's a cannibal.
No.
I don't know.
Daggum.
It's one of those poles that holds up a rope.
Stripper pole.
Yeah.
Holds up a pole, butt crack.
Yeah.
All
But anyway,
right.
we think that
Yeah,
he's trying to prevent like a suicide pill from getting swallowed.
Dude, but even that, him interviewing him, who do you work for?
Yeah.
It's the most, like, practiced, I don't know, like, you hear him say it, and you're like,
Give me a name.
that doesn't sound genuine.
Give me a name.
Give me a name. It sounds like a throwback to Ocean's 11 when Brad Pitt's the doctor,
Yeah.
and he's saying, call it, we've lost him.
We lost.
Like, yeah, this is the most, like, TV acting all of a sudden. What happens next, though? Because everything starts moving so fast at this point.
So at this point, Dan and Lori are hooking up.
Yep.
Well, they
Trying
try
to. Yeah. Just a second.
Yeah, and then they go.
Yeah. Rorschach finds evidence that Moloch
Yes,
was the one behind the. He still thinks that's the main guy.
because Veidt had
So he
already
goes.
killed him and planted evidence.
God, dude, that whole scene of the smoke coming up, but it's a bullet hole. That was a good twist of, oh, great. So Rorschach's been framed. You get the everyone's favorite, the slide and like the matches with the aerosol can, which looks awesome. But then you realize how inefficient it is at the end of. You stopped like 3 guys, man. There's 20.
He's a psycho. He's not normal. He eventually gets
Yeah,
captured and goes to prison.
Yeah, and that's when you get the he's that homeless guy we've seen this whole time.
And then Dan and Lori suit up and go out on patrol and save some people from a fire. And
Splooge fire.
yeah, do the freaking nana, the beast with 2 backs, the grown up, the
Hallelujah.
horizontal cha cha.
Hallelujah.
How many more names can I come up with it?
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. That scene lasted way too long.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's a little horny perv.
Yeah, he loves blue wieners.
Yeah,
I was gonna say feet, but that's Quentin Tarantino.
Dr.
So.
Manhattan's walking around with dick in this whole movie, just swinging. Like,
Whole time, man.
wow.
Yeah, when this movie came out, if you bought it from Walmart, they censored it.
What?
Or they cut. I'm pretty sure that there was a cut of this movie.
A R-rated
At
movie?
Walmart. I think, but this could be a like. I heard this.
Oh, okay.
I never saw it.
This was
but-
back before you couldn't look everything up on the internet. So
Yeah, that was the good days. So they do it.
yep,
That's
and
cool. Then they find out that Rorschach's in jail.
Yep.
But You get the psychiatrist.
Oh yeah,
thing from
Rorschach
it
tells
here.
his story to the psychiatrist.
That's some crazy. Like,
Rorschach had a tough life.
yeah, he did, but he was insane from the start. Like you said, he
Yeah.
bites that dude's cheek off.
Yeah.
Like, he's 9 years old. Of course, if you're gonna win a fight, win the war.
Yeah.
He won the war.
His,
It didn't bother
his
him
mom
after
was
that.
a prostitute who once told him that she should have had an abortion.
I should have had that abortion.
And then slaps him in the face. Okay. All right. Wow.
Yeah, you feel for him. Then you get the that whole Rorschach test being held up is the funniest too. Of it's a pretty flower.
I had no idea how that was pronounced until I watched this movie for the first time. I think when
It does not pronounce how it looks.
No, when I read the comic book for the first time, I was like Rorschach. I think I called it Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Yeah.
The Rorschachs.
Um.
So the I guess the bending point for him though is the girl gets kidnapped. The little girl. He finds her underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And then her legs getting chewed by those dogs. Dude, that whole scene, that is dark.
Mm-hmm.
That is some horror level stuff of
Kills a pedophile and his dogs.
But it is pretty as a good scene. I mean, it's just like, oh, this guy's brutal. He doesn't care. He's done.
Like basically at the end of telling that story, he's like, that's when Walter Kovacs died and Rorschach started.
So that guy leaves and he's like, I can't help him. I give up.
Yeah.
I give up on him.
Yeah.
And then you get Rorschach calls in hell in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like him, I completely forgot. So he's in line and a guy's trying to stab him. Rorschach hits him with his pan, knocks out the glass in the cafeteria line, grabs a fryer basket with oil still, throws it in his face. And then, like, the greatest line in the world, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Mm-hmm. And I ain't got shit to live
great.
for. I'll fucking kill all of you.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. You will die from me. And I'm like, great. So, I mean, they go back to, like, away from there. I don't think anything big happens apart from...
No. We get Dr.
break him
Manhattan's big backstory. He has that monologue after he builds that crystal palace on Mars.
Oh, dude, that... Again, I said it earlier, the music for that whole scene is just beautiful. That whole backstory is bonkers. His speech is so just insane.
Mm-hmm.
The effects of him blowing people up is so disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there is some gross stuff in this movie. The gangster's body's hanging on the floor. I mean, on the roof. But, yeah, what an interesting character. I mean, they didn't make it. The movie didn't make it. It was all Alan Moore, so good for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's my biggest thing with this. Like, this movie's a layup. Make it look cool and cast it right.
Well, everybody had thought that you couldn't, like, make a film adaptation of the comic book.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Zach Snyder pretty much did his damn best.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my brain's getting mixed. So they hear Rorschach's in jail and there's a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide they're going to go break him out.
Yep.
Which the superhero landing of Night Owl jumping out of Archimedes is the greatest thing in the world.
Well, it's supposed to make fun of him, but
yeah, but it's just like, this is rad.
And him and Laurie beat the shit out of some prisoners.
That whole scene is perfect. I mean, like, it's hot off of 300.
That's like the precursor to like the Netflix hallway fights.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene. You do get the fun side thing of the guy that Rorschach put away who's really short.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing's great, disgusting and great.
Oh yeah, he saws that guy's arms off with the saw that they used to try to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guy gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
From toilet water.
If you haven't figured out yet, this movie is very violent, and there's blood all over the place.
Rorschach gives a couple one-liners in this movie. There's not many, but one there is, something about like I'm used to crud going down the toilet, not the toilet taking care of it. It's not what he said exactly, but it's like,
Yeah.
good try, buddy. Put your mask back on. You're better with it on.
Well, he talks in like fragments,
Yeah.
So he's not normal. He's a little strange.
The guy that played him is the only person that knew the source material.
Jackie Earl Haley, I think is his name.
He's the only one that was already familiar with the comic book, and he like actively was like, "I want that role."
He's the only one that could have played it.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect.
Like the voice he has for Rorschach is kind of how I read it when I read the book. Was like,
yeah. See, I'm spoiled because I read it with all this in my head.
Yeah,
but that's everyone else I know. They're like, that was legitimately the perfect person.
Like when I first heard him talk, when I first saw the first time I saw this movie and I heard him speak as Rorschach, I was like, oh well, that's it.
Yeah, you know what? I just realized too. The trailer for this movie was before Dark Knight.
Yeah,
yeah, right. It came before it.
Well, no, it came out the year after The Dark Knight. It was probably like a trailer with The Dark Knight when
that's it.
That was in theaters.
They got yeah. So DC had a big year that year.
They did.
Or the next 2 years, I guess. But sorry. So Rorschach, they're gonna escape. They hop into Archimedes. I don't know, man. There's just so much that my biggest thing, and it's not this movie's fault. It's the original stuff. Like, I want to hang out with the three of them more. I want to do like be more in this world, but no, they're gonna go do.
Rorschach is not long for this world.
No, they go do some digging and
well, no, they go back to. They park Archimedes. Dr. Manhattan's there, takes Laurie to Mars. Then we go.
Thank you.
And investigate.
Yeah, I was like, how is Laurie not in the office? That's why.
Yeah.
Then you get the world's most. I mean, that's beautiful. It's awesome. Not beautiful is not the right word, but just you're going to tell me you slept with Dan in 15 minutes.
This conversation is going to end in tears. Like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, well, you already know about it. I don't need to tell you about it. And he's like, I don't know about it yet. I just know it's going to happen. And then it happens, and he gets mad.
You're sleeping with Dan? You already fucking knew that.
But, God, dude, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But same time that whole mess is going on. Actually, no, that's when she finds out the comedians are dad, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he touches her, gives her the full vision of... And that's... the only bad thing I've got is, like, he has his second hope of mankind of, wow, this one random chance created you, the organisms, this, and I'm like, what? That's what's bringing you back? Is the comedian did it?
I mean, he's like, yeah, he's like, wow, that is a miracle, because the fact that these two people, one person hated this other person so much, but then what are the chances of them finally coming together and creating a person? You know?
Yep.
One had committed a crime, a real heinous crime against the other one at one point, and then they eventually found some kind of love together, quote unquote, because Laurie's mom won't say a bad thing about him after he died, even though he raped her. It's wild.
Mom. Not, you know what? Hey, in this 2023, there are some jokes I'm just not going to make.
Good.
Yep. So
we've already talked about. I feel like we've already talked about rape too much. So
yeah, Dan and Rorschach break into Veight's office, which I don't understand how they got in there.
They got in.
They broke the window. Whatever.
Rorschach's got the thing with the hook and
yeah. Dan's on the computer. Rorschach finds the file that Veight's doing a psychiatric study on Dr. Manhattan.
Which, how did he do that?
He could have been doing it himself.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking, is he always had that camera on in his living space.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he was monitoring.
And
then you find out
the 80s, so he kept paper on everything.
Yeah. God, yeah. It's weird that this is set in the 80s. Oh, wait. No, there's. I don't know where direct cut wise where this falls in. But they break Rorschach out of prison, and the gang finds out Rorschach's out, and they're like, "Well, Rorschach put one of my buddies in jail. He put him away."
Yeah, that's in a
So they're
director's
all
cut.
getting riled up.
He's like,
Is it after this or before?
it's after Lori. It's right before they go to the office. They go to the bar, and they ask anybody know anything about Pyramid Transnational. Oh, that guy works for him. He hired the assassin that tried to kill Adrian Veidt, and then Rorschach crushes the glass in his hand, and then they see the news like, oh, Hollis Mason is dead, and then Dan's like, oh shit, here's a dot top. Who killed Hollis Mason?
Of
bang,
Hollis
bang,
Mason
bang.
getting killed sucks.
No, dude, it's awesome.
I don't.
He's seeing
I
like
don't know.
flashbacks of like enemies that he's
Oh,
defeated.
that's incredible. It's just so sad. Like,
Yeah.
you like the guy. The movie makes you like him,
Mhm.
but that whole death scene is rad. Yeah, the whole flashbacks. The last thing he sees is his supervillain fighting him. Actually,
Because
But
he still got
I
it. He
can't
still
believe that's
got
not
it.
in the movie. How was that not in the original movie?
I know.
I mean, like,
It's such a big
And, like,
part
so-
of the book.
yeah. I mean, it's like a breaking point in the book.
Mhm.
'Cause that's when you like Night Owl loses it
Yeah.
a little bit. But that scene's awesome because like the music's playing, soundtrack's going, he's fighting his villains. Then as soon as he hits him with that trophy once, music cuts.
Yeah.
It's nothing but gross splat. I don't know, man. That whole scene's just like, this is some filmmaking perfection.
Yeah.
Like, this is perfect.
But- So
but
we're back in the office.
yeah, but yeah. Sorry, I knew we missed something.
Yeah.
They find on the computer that using Ramsey 2 as the password on a floppy disk, that Adrian's behind everything, and he's most likely at his Antarctica retreat where they've been doing the energy research stuff. So flash over to Antarctica, where all these scientists are cheersing him, and he kills them all.
Because the pharaohs were entombed with their
prisoners.
servants.
No prisoners.
Wow.
They show up. Rorschach and Dan, which awesome duo. I wish there's more stuff with just them.
How long does it take to fly to Antarctica in a little airship? That's what I want to know.
Dude, it's a magical Merlin bird.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
It's like
Don't
our
think
characters
about
need to get to Antarctica. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it should take a lot longer.
Yeah. Should take like a week or something.
Yeah, but you get that rad Night Owl costume.
he's
has
got a
time to
little
get-
suit for everything. I like it.
Oh man, I love it. It's like, this is a nerd. This guy is a nerd.
Well, he's like, it's like to make fun of Batman. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect too. But you know what? I'm like, never once have I ever said, where does he get all this stuff from? How does he afford this? Didn't care.
Yeah.
I don't care with him at all.
well, he's
Just-
well, they give an excuse for that. Is like his dad was in investment banking and he left him a lot of money when he died.
Batman's in this movie, by the way.
What?
Yeah, well, kind of. The very beginning, when their Minutemen are in the montage, there's Batman posters.
Oh, yeah, and I think I remember somebody saying that frame of the original Night Owl punching a guy with a gun
It's
and
a comic. It's the front of a comic.
a couple behind him is coming out of a theater. That's supposed to be Bruce Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Yep.
Okay.
Alternate world, whatever. So they're walking in, and like they know he's behind it. They know he's the smartest man alive. These two dum-dums' idea is,
Let's run at him.
we're gonna sneak up on him. just run at him.
Yeah.
But you know what you get before that? I'm sorry, I keep going like one step forward, two steps back. That scene where Rorschach and Dan fight, and Dan tells him like, no one wants to deal with you. You're ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's that moment of like, I'm sorry. I know I'm hard to deal with. You're my best friend.
You put up with a lot of shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, yes. But you know what? Watching it again, that's when I should have known he's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they,
But as they're approaching with Jimi Hendrix along the watchtower,
Golly, dude, that whole perfect.
There's a big blue flash out of the back of the facility, and oh no, what's that?
Yeah, they get in. They don't see it though.
No.
Yeah, we do. So they get in. They try and sneak up on them. Just like,
And he jumps 10 feet in the air.
forget it. Y'all suck.
Like, when somebody hits against something in this movie, like, it's coming down or it's crumbling apart. You know?
I absolutely love the humor of, like, he's the villain now.
Yeah.
He's telling them their grand plan. And they're like, we're not going to let you do this. And he's like, what do you think I am, a comic book villain?
I did this 30 minutes ago, my guy.
30, yeah. Then you see it. Like, that is wild. Kill 15 million to save a billion.
Mm-hmm.
John shows up then.
Mm-hmm.
Because the nuclear event has happened. So he immediately goes, oh, I know what's happened. So he comes back with Lori.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Watchmen are together now. And that's where more of the plan comes up. And it's just like, dude, there's no, I mean, Dr. Manhattan should have won all this.
Yeah. Just bloop,
all the way.
bloop,
But
bloop.
smartest man. And that whole thing of like, I've walked across the sun.
Yeah.
I've seen things happen so small. Like, why do you think I care about the smartest man?
The world's
like, oh, yeah, you're not
smartest man poses no more threat to me than its smartest termite. Damn.
And then they go kill Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
And his, I can't remember what that thing's called, the little cat monster. That's a whole bigger deal in the comics.
It's a ancient cat that he bred to somehow exist in the present.
I mean, it was a big deal in the comics. And it was like, oh.
Babastis is her name.
Yeah.
But it dies along with, well, it doesn't. Dr. Manhattan doesn't die, but.
So he disintegrates. They go to fight him again. No, Lori shoots him after that. And he catches the bullet. They make the throwaway reference earlier of, I think he's so fast he could catch a bullet.
And he caught a bullet from that assassin.
Yep. So Dr. Manhattan comes back, and that whole thing's like, I don't know, the first time I watched this, like, oh, it's about to go down. Yeah, here we go. He's going to die. No. And he's like, has the remote. Dr. Manhattan's about to kill him. It doesn't look like a TV remote, but hey, the 80s were great because that is a real TV remote.
This guy loves pyramids, all right? He had a custom remote made that's a pyramid.
I'm in the Illuminati. Turns on the TVs, and now there's world peace. Everyone's no longer fighting.
Oh, Dr. Manhattan tried to kill us all. Let's all love each other now.
I prefer the comic book twist. I think we talked about.
What is this alien that's come down? We need to focus on that instead of each other.
It's a random giant squid.
A giant squid just showed up and exploded everything.
Which this makes more sense of like why Dr. Manhattan leaves again.
Yeah.
The movie does. The comic, not so much. I think he just gets like, I'm done with this.
He's like, fuck this place. Like, I hate it.
Yeah. You've killed everybody. I don't want to deal with humans anymore.
Yeah, I'm done.
So they understand, like, all right, everyone has one enemy, so they're all unified. There's no more war. So they all have to be quiet about it. And Rorschach refuses.
Well, he even has that speech about even in the face, there's black and white and good and evil. Even in the face of Armageddon, I will not budge on this.
Yeah. He will not, I can't remember what the exact word is.
Yeah, I can't. It's something like, I will not move on this or something like that.
He tells Dan, like, this is where you and I are different. You will fold on this, but I will not. And he walks out. And it's just like, oh, dude, where are you going to walk? Oh, yeah. You know you're going to die.
I think he knows that somebody's going to kill him. And he's like, you're going to have to kill me.
The fact that Dr. Manhattan does it makes it even worse. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just has no need for it, but takes his mask off, makes a huge Rorschach mask on the ground. A Rorschach blot. Yeah, I hate that death. I mean, it makes sense, but every time I'm like, what a good character.
And then all of
But
his
he also dropped his journal off a lot
all
earlier,
his
too.
crazy musings are sent to a right wing newspaper, and they publish them all. Which is interestingly where the series picks up, because it's the same ending as the comic book. Like,
Yeah.
all these weird hard right guys have read his journal and
Gotten hard on.
thinks he's a white supremacist. And I'm like, I don't think Rorschach was a white supremacist.
I'm going to tell you this. Don't get on Reddit and search, was Rorschach actually racist? Holy cow,
I don't know, dude. I just think he hated everybody.
Yeah, I think he was pretty unilaterally.
He called everybody
against
child pornographers, and
the only thing he believed in was justice.
yeah, that's the only thing he cared about. Black, white, anybody can get it. Black, white, straight, gay, it doesn't matter.
Nope, you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
I also love this movie. I mean, like, that's dark. This movie ends dark, and I love that. So he dies. Night Owl comes back in. Adrian lets him hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And like the smartest man knows his plan. He's so proud of it. And I don't know why. I sure like taking better notes for this. Taking better notes. It's so long. I just didn't. He gives Adrian a line. It's you haven't saved mankind. You mutilated it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't do anything more. You made it worse.
Yeah.
And you see Adrian immediately go, oh. Yeah, right. Got it. I did. And then
because as soon as we get over this thing, as soon as we move past, that Dr. Manhattan tried to kill us and now he's gone, we're just going to end up killing each other again.
Yeah, the world's going to fight itself without nuclear war.
Yeah.
I think that's the allude that Dr. Manhattan says earlier even. But I think it's hilarious that it goes from this really serious, dark craziness to a rom-com in the movie.
Him and Lori move in together, and he's mentioned in the TV series, but doesn't show up.
I really wanted them to bring him up. They canceled that series, right?
Well, I think the guy that made it was like, yeah, this was just like a one season thing. We didn't have a plan for season 2, which I feel like you could have a season 2.
I wish there was, but good. Leave it that way.
But the way that HBO is run nowadays, they're not going to have a season 2.
The way they do it now, they'd film it and drop it.
Yeah, they'd get like fully done filming it and then cancel it. And none of us would ever see it.
It's a good movie, man. This is probably in my top 10.
Really?
I think it's just like it's not that it's that good of a movie. It's I saw it at the right time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about it, so it blew my mind. Of like, whoa!
It's a good one for me. That. Yeah, like it's one that I enjoy. Like,
I love
severely underrated.
Introduced me, to so much stuff. It's got its flaws. Mm-hmm. It's not the best.
It's not perfect.
No. So, yeah, I'd recommend it. I'd give it like a good, probably 7.9.
Ooh, I give it an 8.
I was going between 8.1, 7.9.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll give the director's cut an 8.1. The original movie, 7.9. I think this is way better. I think the Zach Snyder cut of this, the director's cut, it's way, way better.
Yeah, definitely watch the director's cut, not the ultimate cut, because that's just filled with Gerard Butler as the Black Freighter. It's no good.
That's who. I was like, who's the voice? I can't remember, and I didn't care to look it up. But, yeah, I definitely recommend it. Also, funny enough, I made one of the only notes I made. Dr. Manhattan's the only Watchmen that doesn't cuss.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, like, he's the only one that doesn't cuss. There's a couple other things. It's like, oh, yeah,
he exists out of the present, basically.
Do you know who's going to make this before?
Oh, it was
Zach Snyder,
Terry Gilliam, and then
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton wanted to crack at it. I think he wanted Johnny Depp to play Dr. Manhattan.
The comedian.
The comedian. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. But see, and I also forget Alan Moore wrote Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, he wrote the comic book. Like that was the movie.
Yeah.
That was the movie that made him like, do not put my name on adaptations of my work.
Which kind of sucks because V for Vendetta, I feel like, is pretty good. It's pretty solid.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I watch that
And
every
it's
year.
not. On November.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to watch it again, man. I haven't watched that in a long time.
But like, if you sell your stuff to DC, then you need to quit complaining about it. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I know this isn't a good comparison, but like, look at Notch, the guy that made Minecraft.
Mm.
He sold his stuff to Microsoft.
Shut up.
He dipped out. Of course, that guy's a little interesting, but
Same thing
yeah,
about
he
George
sold his-
Lucas. Like everybody went, bananas about what Bob Iger said in his book about the meeting he had with George Lucas. And it's like, motherfucker, you sold it for $5. Like, what are you complaining about?
Yeah, you can't really say anything at this point, man. Like,
Yeah. But anyway, we move on to our next segment called "What You Watching?" /playing.
Watching his Dark Materials,
Mm.
the last season, kind of have to finish it.
That's the one with
not the best.
Lin-Manuel Miranda's
Yeah, yep,
and
that's
somebody
it.
else.
It's got crap. It's
I think
Professor X.
Daphne Keene from Logan.
Yeah, she's the main character.
Yeah, she's going to be in the Acolyte for Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool. She's good. She's a good actress.
Yeah,
James
McAvoy.
McAvoy. God, I'm telling you, 2023 is not my year for talking. He's also a main character in that.
Okay.
Which, I mean, they hold it down.
Gotcha.
I watched. God, there was something else that I was like, oh, I got to bring this up. I don't know. I watched a couple things since the last time we watched too. I watched a pretty great documentary series of "Where's My Jet."
Oh, on Netflix.
It is so funny, man. It is good, and I remember a lot of it happening. And
I remember that commercial that they were talking about in the trailer.
So that's worth the watch.
Okay, I'll have to watch that because I hadn't heard anything else about it.
There's something else that I watched recently and was like, this is perfect, but no, I'm just stuck on knowing I got to finish Dark Materials. Finish Barry season 3.
Good for you. That's a good show.
Yeah, Dad watching that season 3. I mean, it was like a 3-day watch for us. It was like, oh, we're gonna finish this. No, but
like the end where he gets Barry arrested. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Spoilers alert.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I don't think anybody listens to this part.
Yeah, that's it. What are you watching?
Friday Night Lights.
Got some reactions from downstairs, by the way. The TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked it. We watched part of it.
I'm watching it for the first time in like 10 years. Like I watched it when me and Tyler lived together. And
it's got the best soundtrack, man.
Yeah.
That band is bomb.
It takes me back to high school, I was like, because that was the years I was in high school, was 2006, 2007.
Yeah, that's a good series.
Yeah.
I never watched the movie.
And I started Assassin's Creed Valhalla again.
Oh,
I never finished it the first time, but I heard like they finally updated everything and put an ending on it. So
if we're talking games, I just got to tell you that I bought, you've seen my computer. I have a gaming computer that's way too powerful for anything I do.
Yeah.
And when I tell people the stuff I play, they're kind of mad. I bought this indie game called Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver.
It might be the funnest game I've played. And I think it's on the top sales list on Steam even.
Okay.
It's early access.
Oh.
It is addictive, man. It is so good.
Okay.
But I'm just waiting for Harry Potter.
Me too.
And Ant-Man.
Oh, yes.
Dude, you make my day. Like, I know if I get a text from you in the morning, it's a trailer.
Yeah.
And I don't keep up with them. So when you send them, it's like, yes, thank you, Preston. I'm going to watch this right now.
Well, I mean, YouTube knows me so well that like it just inundates my feed with, hey, this came out. I'm so excited to see Jonathan Majors play Kang. Like,
I just love, like, we talked about, I don't know if we did on the podcast just when you're up here. Like, I'm tired of comic book movies, kind of, which is kind of fun watching this. I didn't hate it,
Yeah.
but I don't get excited about superheroes right now.
Yeah. Me either.
But that's the exception.
Like, the only two I'm going to see this year is Ant-Man and Guardians, because I got to finish those out.
Yeah.
Like, any other Marvel
it's kind of fun.
or DC, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
good.
really excited about...
James Gunn might do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm really excited about Creed 3 and John Wick.
I've never watched any of the new Creed movies.
You need to go watch them.
I mean, it's Creed, not Rocky.
You need to watch them.
John Wick, we just watched. Logan's never watched them, so we just watched all 3.
Ooh.
As well. So she's not an action person. Or it's not like, yeah. But daggum, I love those movies, man. They make you want to punch someone.
Ana de Armas is playing in a spinoff called The Ballerina, and Keanu is going to be in that movie as John Wick. He's looking at something.
I'm looking to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I know who that actress is.
She's the most beautiful woman on the planet.
What happened to Margot Robbie?
She surpassed Margot Robbie.
What was that? Oh, I know what it was. Oh, I know this girl is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Well, she was in Knives Out. We watched.
Yeah, she's in the first Knives Out.
We watched Glass Onion.
What'd you think? That's
Amsterdam.
Good. So good, isn't it?
Have you? Yeah, I love it. Have you seen Amsterdam?
Yeah, that was like,
Yeah, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was not great. Does not need a second take, by the way, but it could. But
I don't want to watch it again.
That's what I was gonna say. Probably don't want to watch it again.
So
that'd be good.
Yeah, that is it for this week. Next week we will be watching the director's cut of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Martha
Cavill in one of his last times as Superman. Affleck in a halfway decent Batman movie buried within that movie.
God, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm already not looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a long one. For Jake, I will say we'll see you next week. And if you have a suggestion for a topic, you can send that to secondtakemoviespod@gmail.com. We are on Instagram @secondtakemovies, and I will say we see you next week with Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.